Hi lovelies, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Linz. So today I am going to be doing something a little bit different and something I don't think I've actually done on this channel before, which is I'm bringing you along on me cooking my whole Sunday roast chicken dinner, including the veg and the gravy I'm doing and all that good jazz. The reason this is different is because, well, for the start, I don't normally use two appliances in the same video. But another thing is, I was on the website. This isn't anyway sponsored or anything like that, just before anybody, says it. I was on the website for the Versazone Versa, one of them anyway. I don't use this machine half as much as I should, I'll be honest. But just out of curiosity, I looked up what their instructions were for cooking their roast chicken. And it kind of surprised me a little bit. Now, if you've got air fryers and you've cooked your roast chickens before, the standard way of doing it is, and a lot of people will tell me this as well, you stick it breast side down for so long and then you turn it halfway through and cook it for the remainder. With this recipe, there's no turning. But the temperature's very low compared to what I would normally be cooking it at. So I want to give it a go, see how it works. I'm going to be extremely diligent with my temperature thermometer thing, just to make sure. But I'll just bring this down and I'll show you how we're going to get started. So just another thing I'm not doing, I'm not using the herbs and spices and stuff that they use in the recipe, because they're just not for me. So any of your seasonings that you would normally use, you go ahead and use. Do you. One thing it did state in kind of like the recipe thing was about cutting somewhere down here and popping the thighs open. I am not doing that because for me, cooking should be as simple as possible to get the tastiest, best result. So all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be spritzing over a little bit of oil, a bit different to the way I normally do it, I suppose. Normally I just throw it in with some salt and pepper. Then I am just going to add some dry sage. Sage. I'm trying to grow some of this, but it's just not working for me. If anybody's any tips on growing sage, let me know down in the comments from seed. Then I'm using aromat, but if you want, you can use salt. This is what I'm using in place of salt. So it's just basically, I'm just throwing everything on. Then I am putting on just some plain ground white pepper. And like that. Now, this to start off with is going in. Let me see. And we're going to turn it on. Now, we want it on the full thing, so we don't have to change any of that. And then we're going on to the air fry. Now, this is saying to do it at 165 Celsius, okay? Which for me is a baking temperature. And then for the time, we're going to be putting it on for 45 minutes. This is what it says in the thing. 45 minutes I agree with, but that temperature seems very, very low. So we're going to test it out anyway and see, and we're just going to go ahead. No, we're not. Air fry. Not used to. No, I've just messed that up completely. Right, we'll start again. Right, we're doing air fry. Temperature 165 and the time, what did I say, 45 minutes. And start. There we go. Now, that's doing its thing. Why that's doing its thing, we're coming down here to, I absolutely, this is my baby. It's used nearly every day. I couldn't be without it now. So in here I have 250 mils, or it's approximately 1 cup of, it was hot water at the time, it's not anymore, with 1 chicken stock in. And this is going in there. We're not going to wash that, we're just going to leave it there. Just bear with me while I get the veg. So, I will do my best to link this basket down in the description below. They're quite hard to get hold of, and I found them on Amazon, but it's touch and go on whether they have them in. In here I have some fairly chunky carrots and some potatoes just peeled and chopped, and that is going to go in there. I'm going to pop the lid on, onto sealing, and then hopefully we can see this bit here. We're going on to pressure cook, and we're going on to 3 minutes. Now this here is just going to build its pressure, and once it's done, it's going to start beeping horribly at me in a minute. Right, okay, so that now is basically saying that it's set. It is going to come up to its 3 minutes, and as soon as it's done its 3 minutes, I'm going to do the release. But I'm going to come back to you, and we're going to do all that together, okay? So this has literally just finished its 3 minutes. I don't recommend you do this part here, okay? But because of the proximity I've got it in, normally I would have that underneath the extraction fan, and I don't particularly want it to spray everywhere. So I'm just going to throw that over the top and let that vent. So that's just going to vent off. Now, so this isn't completely cooking your vegetables or anything like that. This would be classed as parboiling. So if you know, you haven't got the instant pot, you can just parboil that and get them ready. So I'm just going to pop that into a bowl down there. Now, this is hot, so I do recommend you having the silicone mitts. I want to take that out of there. I'm going to put that back into the jug because I'm reusing that. After all, that is just chicken stock in there with now what's going to be some of the nutrition that come out of the veg. Into this here now, I am going to cancel it off. Hopefully you can see. I am going to press the saute button, and I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in that. Now, what have we got going on here? On the actual air fryer itself, I'm waiting for this to get down to 25 minutes, and then our veg is going to go in. So we're doing all the things today. So that there is our veg. I want that to kind of just steam off a little bit, so we're going to pop that over there. In here, I just have a small onion that I diced up. So this is the part where we're kind of making the gravy. Obviously, I wouldn't normally have saran wrap or cling film over the top of my pan when I'm, you know, just doing normal stuff, but this is hopefully so you get to just kind of see how I do a whole roast dinner. And I want that there to just saute off a little bit. Haven't put enough oil in. We'll just do that again. So all that's really going to do is that's just going to saute off a little bit while I have a fight with mats and things. This is steaming off lovely now. Now I don't want it too dry that it's not going to take things like again, she's coming out of this. Another alternative, you can use semolina for this, or any of the things you like. I haven't tried any of the roast potato packs yet that I've seen in places like Aldi and Lidl. If you've tried them, let me know down below. So all I'm doing is literally just getting this all ready. Fluff them up a bit, beat them up a bit, make them look a little bit more, yeah. So as I said, they're just parboiled, they're not cooked. That's that. I'm just going to leave that for a second. Concentrate on the onion. If this is working very well, but we'll see, and you can let me know down in the comments. Now in here we started off with 250 mils. We have a little bit less, so I'm just going to grab the kettle. I want to bring this up here to at least 500 mils, or 2 cups if you're doing it that way. Just that. Now this bit here, with your gravy and stuff like that, everybody has their own version of doing gravy. We will see in a minute if there's any juices I can take just off the bottom of that chicken, and I will attempt to pour them into this bowl. Hope this is all making sense, probably not. Just stir off these a little bit just to keep them steaming away, but they still now have took on some of that flavour in. I'm not going to put oil on them until I go to put them into the air fryer. But don't worry about all these bits that are coming over things like your carrots and stuff, because they're just going to crisp up, and that's just all going to add to it. Right, I just have to wait now a few minutes. I'm just going to keep an eye on the onions. Like that. And I'll just have to wait now just another few minutes until this is ready for me to maybe pour out some juices. We'll see. I'll bring this back and finish off that gravy. I am, just for the time being, going to turn off that saute because I was a little bit premature with myself. We're at 26 minutes now on the air fryer. So let's see. Right, I've tried to move the camera a little bit, so hopefully you'll be able to see better. Just want to see if I can hold that. That's not going to work, is it? No. So there was a tiny little bit in there. There wasn't much. What am I have to do? I'm have to put it back in. Right, our veg now. I am just going to take, and I'm going to give it some good sprays of oil. Use whichever oil you prefer. I prefer vegetable oil. It's, you know, it's a preference thing. It looks like a lot, but it's not. Not much comes out with the spray. So. It's a bit more awkward when you're trying to do it on camera. So there's the chicken. We're just going to throw in that veg. Drop some on the floor. Now, and that there now is going to go back in for its other 25, 26 minutes. This, as you can hear, that was still sizzling, only I turned off the saute function the last time I was talking to you, so it's still hot even a few hours through. What I'm going to do now is the remainder of them juices, so you have the chicken stock that I done with the veg. That's all going to go in there. Now, I am going to put that onto the saute mode. I don't know how well any of this is picking up. I'm going to bring it, oh wait, no, saute mode. I'm going to bring it down to the low setting, and I am just going to leave that there now for a few minutes to boil away, just to make sure all them juices and things like that are cooked properly through. Okay, because bear in mind our chicken's still not cooked and some of the juices that do come out of that then won't be fully cooked either. So make sure that you give that a good simmer or a good boil, depending on how, you know, you're doing yours. And I'll be back when I've cleaned up some of this mess. Right, the air fryer has just done its class. It sounds to me like a bird cheap, and it's just basically a thing to have a look. So we're going to come down, show you. I wasn't planning on turning any of my roast veg or anything, so I'm just literally gonna just give it a bit of a flick. I'm very interested on this chicken. Am I even in frame? Because the temperature for that is getting me a little bit, because I would normally do it at a lot higher. So I'm gonna pop that back in. That's gonna carry on doing its thing. Our gravy mix now has had enough time to kind of cook through. So I am going to, no, I'm not going to do that just yet. I am going to, in here, bear with me lovelies, it's been a few weeks again since I've filmed. In here I have some of this, okay? So it's basically a thicker and a flavour and all that kind of good stuff all in one. Now this has a trick. So I have 500 mils of liquid in there, and I have 4 heaped teaspoons of this mixed in with some cold water. You do not want to put hot water in with this, because you're just going to end up with a big jelly mess. Now on this now, I am literally going to stir, 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 and pour that in, because if you do it slowly and you don't stir at the same time, you're just going to get really thick jelly. And this will make a nice thick gravy that I'll show you now in a minute, which can be watered down if you need it to be. It's up to yourselves. Ooh. Just so we can see that nice thick gravy. And all I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to press cancel, and I am just going to press the keep warm function. I'm not going to worry about the time, because the time there is not going to be sort of like anything major for us. But that is just going to keep that warm and even continue to cook a little bit more. So that's all I'm doing. I do like to just position the lid just sort of on top of it like that, and then that'll do. So once again, we've got 12 minutes left on the air fryer for that chicken and veg. I am still really dubious on whether the temperature is going to be okay in that chicken. Don't forget, we're looking for a temperature that's going to be above 74, 75. I can never get the camera angle right to actually show you it coming up on the temperature probe thing, but we're going to see. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, this air fryer is a little bit shallower compared to any of my Ninjas. So for a normal roast Sunday dinner, I would probably use my, is it the AF 180, just for 2 of us, but we're just doing this one today and we're going to see. So we'll come back when that's done, give it the temperature check and see. I'm not sure. I don't know whether I've done any good a job at the moment of trying to film this video, because it's not my usual filming of kind of using a couple of different things and showing you a full meal coming together. If you think I've done kind of okay, let me know down in the comments. And is this the type of video and sort of like the format you would like to see? Because I quite like, I think, just kind of having you here in the kitchen and just doing all the things, you know, that kind of way. But that might not be for everybody, so just let me know down in the comments. Right, this now has had for 45 minutes at 165 Celsius. And I would say it is looking good. Okay. But I'm just not convinced. The temperature is going to be good. 62. Now, I do know in the thing it said about cutting this, but I can't, that wouldn't make that much difference. In fact, that is higher in there. That there is 71, 72, 72. Do you know, it's not far off, but I am going to pop that back in, I think, just for another 5 minutes, because I'm just not, yeah, I'm just not overly happy with that. So I'm going to pop it back in for another 5 minutes. Okay. So we're going air fry. Yeah, we want the temperature 5 minutes. And still at the 165. So, right, I'm going to leave that. We'll just have a check on that gravy. Yeah, it's fine. Right, I'll be back. So we've done another 5 minutes. Let's have a look. Ah, there we go. We're back up now. I am getting 76, 77. Make sure you're testing it everywhere. Yeah, that's fine. Right, I'm going to take this out and just pop it on a plate so it has a chance to rest. Now, just a random fact. Meat, when it rests, normally does come up a couple of degrees anyway. A few juices come out of that, so we'll just drain them off. So, and then that can just stay there for a minute, and that is going to be keeping warm. So there we go. That is the roast chicken done in the instant versazone. I do know, honest. But yeah, that's that. And I'm going to come back when I'm cutting into that chicken so you can actually see inside that it's not, you know, that it's cooked, basically. Right, so I've dished my potatoes and veg up, and now I am literally just going to slice off some of this breast here. We'll put the skin on afterwards. I'm not the best at carving, just in case you hadn't noticed. And then if you're somebody that likes the leg, there we go. It's just literally fallen off the bone, if we can see that. There we go. I quite like some of this under meat. There we go. Nice. Now, lovelies, I am just going to finish up that, and then we'll come back and we're dissecting the chicken, but I'll go over and we'll have a chat about, you know, what we could do different or how you'd like this video. Now, that there is my kind of a normal Sunday dinner for us, kind of cooked with everything, with the onion gravy. And I just want to show, because I know somebody might ask, I still have the things here, the inside of the potatoes. So there we go. We're all nice cooked through and fluffy. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. We would just taste a little bit of that chicken, because there's a few of you that for some reason like to see me eat on camera. We have this conversation near at the end of every video, so here we go. It's roast chicken. It's not dry, it's perfectly kind of still juicy and stuff like that. So that for me, again, is a really, really good dinner. Lovelies, my microphone I think is about to die. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I do want to say again, thank you if you've made it this far. well, for any length of time, for spending time with me in the kitchen, because it really does mean the world. And I hope that wherever you are, you have a great day. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye and hopefully speak to you all down in the comments or over on another video. Have a good one.